Hello, welcome back to my haunted library. It's Regina. Hope you're doing well. I hope you're staying cool. It's so hot today, and that's kind of why I put on my Grecian goddess look, because I thought, well, it's got to be really hot in Greece. So maybe it'll kind of put me in the right frame of mind. I normally don't wear a headband, but I found this in my collection of hats and stuff, and I don't know about you, but this weather makes my hair very frizzy, and when it gets down on my face, it drives me crazy. I didn't want to do a full updo, so I thought, okay, I'll put this headband on. So it's actually very pretty. But I don't use headbands too much. It does have kind of like a royal look to it, so I thought, oh, why not? I'll go with it. Anyway, I hope you're doing well. It's been a pretty good week. Of course, I'm very saddened by the news of Sinead O'Connor's death. I'm not going to talk about that too much, except to say I was definitely a fan of her music. Going back to the beginning, I know she's a bit of a controversial figure in some ways, but to me, she was always just like a punk rocker rebel. And that's always what I enjoyed about her, just her whole persona. I did like her music. And look, I've listened to her music throughout her career, not just the hits back in the day, but if you want to check out a really great album, check out, it's called I'm Not Bossy, I'm the Boss. I think it might have been her last studio album, came out a couple years ago. She's in top form. She did some fun videos for it. And I've listened to that, I have the CD, I've listened to that quite a bit. It's very good. So yeah, there's always some kind of challenge. I mean, I've been dealing with a lot of stuff, frankly, with my family, lots of drama and issues. So just to sit here and talk about books is actually very relaxing for me. Actually, one thing I have been doing, I'm a bit of a retail therapy kind of person, I must confess, even if it's just going to the thrift store. And my two favorite things to buy are clothes and books. So I did buy some clothes at the thrift store, which I would model, but it's way too hot for that because I found this gorgeous red wool dress. I'm certainly not going to put that on. I was actually thinking, I've been seriously considering starting a second writing channel, but then I've been thinking and fantasizing about starting a fashion channel, which is a completely different direction, but it is one of my passions as much as reading is. So I don't know if I could handle 3 channels. I don't even know if I can handle 2 because I manage to do 1 video a week here, maybe a little more sometimes. Anyway, let me know in the comments below if you would watch Regina's fashion channel, however that would take shape. Just curious. Anyway, I have a bit of a mixed bag today. I have a haul from my retail therapy thrift store shopping, and I'm also going to chat a little bit about the latest V.C. Andrews Dawn episode on Lifetime. I'll timestamp things so you can skip around. But before we even do that, I got another package from my friend Patrick. Patrick is always so thoughtful to send me little packages. It's very thoughtful. Thank you, Patrick. So let's take out my trusty sword, my letter rapier. Okay, let's see what he sent me. Always a nice little letter or card. Dear Regina, and I just so enjoy his handwriting. It's lovely. Since there's only 1 more month of summer left, I thought I'd send you one of my favorite authors to read during the hot summer months. It's not necessarily gothic, but I thought you'd enjoy some 1920s glamour in your library. Are you excited for fall as I am? Enjoy, Patrick. I am absolutely excited for fall. This is called This Side of Paradise and Other Classic Works by F. Scott Fitzgerald. Patrick, this is amazing, and you have no idea, and what a beautiful, oh gosh, what a beautiful leather-bound book. This is so wild that you sent me this, and F. Scott Fitzgerald, I was just thinking about F. Scott Fitzgerald because I'm going to discuss that in the first book that I'm going to review today. So this is a bizarre coincidence and a good one. Thank you so much. I will certainly dip into this during this month. Of course, this goes nice with my outfit. See, it's all planned. It's all planned by the universe. Just open yourself up to all these wonderful synchronicities. So I'm just going to lead in from that to the first book I'm going to talk about, and that is A Season in Purgatory by Dominic Dunne, which has a Great Gatsby theme, so it makes a nice segue. This book I found last week when I was doing my thrift store retail therapy outing. One of my favorite stores is the Christian bookstore. It's not Catholic Charity, it's another kind of Christian sect. They have great books, but really bad music, like that horrible Christian rock music that plays. But if you can just, I usually put on a podcast while I'm in there browsing, but I found this book, and I really love Dominic Dunn's writing. I've read a few of his books. I remember the one, I think, I also saw the TV movie, An Inconvenient Woman. Maybe that was the only one I read. And then I also read, it was either a book or a series of essays he did for Vanity Fair during the OJ trial, which is great writing. He's a really, really good writer, very sharp mind. This book is based on, just like An Inconvenient Woman, I think that was the name of it. Yes, An Inconvenient Woman. I think that was also based on a true story. So it's kind of like, it's not nonfiction, it's fictionalized based on a true crime story. All the names are changed, some of the circumstances are changed, but it's similar to the real story. So this one is based on a great American Irish Catholic family with political ties. Can you guess what family that might be? There was also a murder, an infamous murder where a young woman, her name is Martha Moxley, was bludgeoned to death, and she was 15 or 16, bludgeoned to death with a golf club in Connecticut. So this book is based on that case, loosely, and it has a Great Gatsby theme in that the narrator, although it does switch points of view, and I think it's a solid novel, I have to say. Read it. I could not put it down. I was reading this when I went to bed, and then I was reading it during my morning coffee, and I don't do that with many books. It was gripping. This was a solid 5 stars. It was great. Very sharply written. And it's in the Great Gatsby style. In fact, it quotes the Great Gatsby, which I felt was a little bit on the nose. Donna Tartt's The Secret History is also similarly structured, where there is a narrator who's on the outside of this wealthy crowd, family in-crowd group that he aspires to be part of. So much that when something truly reprehensible happens, like a murder, he doesn't immediately go to the police. He becomes part of it because he's so seduced by this family's wealth and charisma. So, excellent book, highly recommend. A book I don't quite recommend, but luckily it was a very short read. I found this one disappointing. This is the Wildflowers series, the first book in the Wildflowers series. This is Misty, a V.C. Andrews series, one of the shorter ones. This was just not that interesting. The concept of these young girls, teenagers, are part of a group therapy session where each of them come from families of divorce, and each of these wildflowers, starting with Misty, tells her tale about her terrible parents and their terrible divorce. Really boring. I don't know, is divorce parents that controversial? It's not like the last one, were they the Runaways? That one was a little more interesting. This one, just, I don't know. I'm going to keep reading it because I'm just going to push through every one of these series, but yeah, a bit of a disappointment. So that's what I read since we last spoke. So I thought I would then get into my haul. I have a big paper bag here that is ripping as we speak. So here we go. That's my Christian bookstore haul, and then a couple other things that I'll show you that I got on eBay. So this is a book I was really happy to find because I don't have it and I've never read it. This is Exit to Eden, Anne Rice, written by Anne Rampling. This is her erotica. I read some of them, like the Taking of Beauty or something. I remember that was really controversial. I probably read that back in the 90s. I remember this book was made into a movie with Rosie O'Donnell wearing like bondage gear, if you can imagine. Never saw it. So maybe I'll read the book and take a Valium and watch the movie. No, just kidding. I'm going to read that for Garb August. I thought it would be a really good choice for that. So what else did I get? Oh, I have a few of these. I have the Dracula and I have the Frankenstein, and I saw this and I thought, you know what, I'm going to start collecting these for real because I had these when I was a kid. And these are great illustrated classics. This one is The Three Musketeers. These are nice books, fully illustrated. Why read the original when you can read this? No, just kidding. This is slightly embarrassing, but I couldn't resist. I found this old book of the royal wedding of King Charles now and Princess Diana. I just really, really loved Diana. Diana was someone from my generation, so I watched her as a young bride. When I was in college, I watched the royal wedding, hung on every one of her fashion statements. Although paging through this, I see it's mostly about Charles. He looks a lot like Harry there. Now, one thing you have to say about King Charles is he is a dapper dandy, absolute fashion icon, in my opinion. There was, I won't name names, but there was a popular YouTube that I subscribe to that I really enjoy, YouTube channel, and he's a young, very cool young man who knows a lot about fashion. And he did he reports on fashion shows and what's happening in the world of fashion, and I'm a big fan. I watch all of his videos, but he was doing something about like the royal fashion, and he mentioned something about King Charles and was like, well, he's not important when it comes to fashion. And I almost fell out of my chair. It's like, what? And I left a comment like, how dare you? No, it wasn't. I left a nice comment, but that is just not true. He is as much of a dandy as Beau Brummel ever was. He always is perfectly tailored in his Savile Row suits. Look at that. Not many men can pull off the kilt, and he can. So I found this in the bookstore, and it's in great condition. And because I love collecting board games, especially those with a mystery or horror theme, found a nice edition of Clue. This looks like it might have been from like a special edition, vintage bookshelf edition with the board. I'm not going to take it all out, but you kind of get the idea. Always have loved playing Clue. Let me know in the comments below if you love Clue too. Okay, what else? This interesting, what you find in the Christian bookstore. This is a nice paperback copy of Lost Souls by Poppy Z. Bright. So this book I was thrilled to get. I jumped on it for, I think it was $2. Aberrat by Clive Barker, fully illustrated with his own designs. Oh, I got excited for a second. I thought, did he sign it? But no, it's a Christmas present to Matthew, love Aunt Barbara. It must be like a cool Aunt Barbara to give this book. Matthew, what is wrong with you? Here is another children's book classic. I know this series. I have a couple already. This is Gulliver's Travels by Jonathan Swift. I couldn't resist this. This is called The Debutantes, a novel by June Flom Singer. This looks like a great book to read during Garb August. I love this type of book. And then this book I got that I have actually read before, and it's really good. And this also might be a good Garb August pick because it's a great true crime thriller. And that's And the Sea Will Tell by Vincent Bugliosi. He wrote Helter Skelter, which you might remember. This is really scary. There is a TV movie based on this that I have not seen that I'm going to try to find. I searched for it once and couldn't find it on YouTube, but it's really good. It's about this wealthy middle-aged couple who are kind of retiring, and they have this beautiful boat fully loaded with a freezer filled with gourmet food, and they're going to travel out to this Caribbean island, this deserted island, and spend months there in their retirement. And they're very suave and sophisticated. And then joining them on the island is this rough couple who, and this is like in the 70s, who have a boat that's barely afloat, and something really horrible happens. Great book. So I may dip into that for Garb August again. And this I found because every time I see a good vampire anthology, I have to get it, especially when it only costs 99 cents. And I think that it was also half price, some of these, so it was not an expensive haul. This is called The Best of Dreams of Decadence, Vampire Stories and Poems to Keep You Up Till Dawn. Probably will save some vampire reading till the fall. During one of my thrift store adventures, I found a book in the series that I've been wanting to get for a long time. This is a Time Life books series called Mysteries of the Unknown. These came out in the late 80s into the early 90s. There are 33, I believe. 33 is a magic number. Wonder if that was intentional. Volumes in this series. And they are, I love the silver and black design. They're fully illustrated, and each one deals with a topic of Mysteries of the Unknown. So this one is called Search for the Soul. The one that I got, I found in the thrift store, and it wasn't in good condition. It looked like a dog had chewed on the corners. I've been there with my dogs. Ugh! Lily was a terrible chewer. Lucky is not... really, was not bad. She just had other problems, but they're both doing great. They got their summer haircuts. They're feeling a lot better. But anyway, the one I found was about dreams and dreaming, and I'm halfway through reading that. The text is very good. You know, sometimes you get these coffee table books and they have great illustrations, but not great text or very meaningful text. This one does. It's really good. So this was an early birthday present that I got from Joe. He got me, I think, not the whole series. To buy the whole set was expensive, but I think he got me I think I have about 19 already. So I'm going to then now collect the rest of them. This one's called Visions and Prophecies, Powers of Healing, The Mysterious World, all the stuff that I'm interested in. When I finish the one about dreams and dreaming, I'll do a little video about it. Definitely going to timestamp this one. Although, honestly, I don't have that much to say about Twilight's Child, except it's highly entertaining. It pretty much covers everything that happens in the book, and the book is very good. Like I said before, it makes me want to reread the whole series. It's like one thing after another where Dawn gets tested as going from a young woman into adulthood. So it starts off with she and Jimmy are together. They get Dawn's baby Christy back. They return to Cutler Cove. Dawn takes over the running of the hotel. And that's when she starts getting into all of these problems with her stepfather, I guess you could say. He's not a real father. And she marries Jimmy, and there are all kinds of problems, especially when Jimmy's little sister Fern comes to stay with them. The actress who plays Fern is absolutely perfect. She looks just like how I imagined her in the book. She's really good. You just want to... One thing I really enjoyed about this episode were the 80s hairstyles and fashions. Really funny. Very well done. This episode was so campy, only because of all of the things that happen. It's like one horrible thing that Dawn has to deal with after the other. And Jimmy's kind of like, I like Jimmy's, but he's a little bit of a dunce. There's all kinds of stuff with the mother, Laura Sue, and her husband, Bronson. Great name. That's like such a soap opera name. It's fabulous. Clara Sue, the sister, and now she has a perm, comes back with her sleazy boyfriend. That whole section is hilarious when she goes over the edge of the cliff. I mean, sorry for the spoiler, but Joe and I just fell out laughing. It was so great. I've talked a lot today, so I'm kind of running out of steam, but overall, great episode. I can't wait for the next one, and maybe I'll do a little bit more of a review that time around. So let me know in the comments below if you've read any of these books that I've discussed. If you're watching the Dawn series, I would love to hear your thoughts. So that's all I have for today. Stay cool, and I will see you next time in my haunted library. Bye!